Hey, Lee Robinson here from American Sentinel Canine. I appreciate your support for watching our videos and whatnot. This is actually kind of a response video to a video that we made before that somebody seemed to misunderstand. So I want to do a real quick, short clarification on a couple of things. And that is the canine community is a huge community. It's composed of many different aspects. And we today, as breeders and trainers, and also as veterinarians or nutritionists or conditioners or hunters, whether it be bay dogs or catch dogs or some other type of hunting dog like a bird dog, whatnot, we all stand on our predecessors that came before us. So it makes our job easier by building off of what they contributed. And some people revolutionized the industry by making major contributions. And somebody saw my video called All Defense All the Time is Not Always Enough. And they thought I was disrespecting the person that used that as their slogan. And I was not disrespecting that slogan, that person, or that slogan. I was adding some clarification on some aspects that some people may not necessarily understand from a training and drive perspective. See, Gypsy Stratton is the person that used that slogan, but he talked about all defense all the time from a legal aspect. He talked to lawyers and things like that, and in my opinion, he revolutionized the the awareness in the canine industry among a lot of people when it comes to civilian protection dogs legally using a dog for protection work. I think he was a huge asset to the community. Now, this person that felt like I was attacking him accused me of not knowing Gypsy and never communicating with Gypsy, which is totally unfounded. If you go back 20 years ago, back from around maybe 2003, 2004, somewhere around that time, I began communicating with Gypsy. In fact, he sent me a video on VHS that he wanted me to turn into digital format so it could be uploaded online when he was dealing with some other issues. Back then, in the 2005 or so era, digital format was available, but it wasn't readily available. It was expensive and the quality was pretty crappy, to be honest with you. But he had VHS tapes. So and I've got VHS tapes from that time as well. I mean, had just got a digital camera around that time, and trust me, the quality was terrible and it wasn't cheap. You can go get a digital camera today for a few $100 that is 10 times better than what we had back then for $1,000 back then. So it was just not readily available back then. But we communicated, and we basically stopped communicating with each other somewhere around 2008. I'm not exactly sure. He had a big sleeve party where he burned the sleeves, and he got on a ban the bite agenda, and that's where he and I parted ways because I didn't want to ban the bite. I feel like a dog needs to be comfortable in combat in order to be a reliable protection dog. That engagement is necessary when a person's life is relying on a guard dog to be able to engage should a true conflict arise, and you need to rely on that dog. Then you need to know that your dog is comfortable in combat. He operated more on the philosophy of what he had a defensive protocol of alarm, challenge, threat display, and engagement. But he really didn't want to use the engagement. Obviously, he would use it if it was necessary, but around 2008, he started using less engagement and relying more on alarm, challenge, and threat display. He felt like that was enough for 90% or whatever of the situations, and because of that, that became the primary focus of his training. I felt like, yes, these steps are essential, but sometimes you have a bad guy that's not going to be impressed with a dog barking behind a fence or behind a door, and you need a dog that's capable of doing more. Huff and puff and bluff is not always enough. All right? Now, some people will say that those words mischaracterize Gypsy. And like I said, I don't want to discredit what he contributed to the industry because he certainly contributed an awareness that needed to be brought to the table. And hats off to him in that regard. None have done it better. All right? However, I'm not mischaracterizing it. He believed that huff and puff and bluff was essential, and not only essential, but generally speaking, enough for most situations. And so that became the primary portion of his training. And we're going to look at this video and hear what he has to say about it. So before any of you accuse me of using his video content without permission, I have back excellent video. May I put you on my YouTube channel? I'll of course give you credit. If you want, I'll include your contact info as well. He said, yes, thank you, please. Okay. So this is from straight from the horse's mouth. Let's hear what he has to say.
On my end, from a person, I'm going to speak more so as the owner. If you own a dog, it's important to know your dog. Not every dog needs to be a killer.
Yes.
Bluffing goes a long way.
Yes.
So,
all right, he said bluffing goes a long way, and Gypsy very strongly articulated yes. But let's continue to listen.
if you have your dog, don't let people in your neighborhood pet your dog.
Yes.
Most dogs are going to bark when someone comes to the door. That is really enough.
Yes.
Okay. He said barking is enough, and Gypsy said yes. But Gypsy's going to elaborate on this after this gentleman finishes his talking.
Someone comes, Gypsy gave me the best advice ever when I bought my monster, a Castrate Malacli. Keep it on the lead. Don't let the person that comes to your house touch the dog, and that's enough. If you have a big dog, any dog that's above 50 pounds is going to scare most people.
Yes.
So protection training, I know a lot of the trainers are going to hate me for saying this. It's often not necessary. A good bluff goes a long way.
I agree.
And can save you a lot of money and headaches.
That is the defensive protocol that has worked for eons: alarm, challenge, threat display. And if those are successful, a bite is never necessary. In most cases, bad guys do not want to be discovered. They do not want to be hurt. And so if your dog is presenting itself as, I am protecting this, they move on to a house that has no dog. That is true universally.
All right. So with that said, look, I agree with what he is saying here, but I'm just emphasizing one point that he even says basically that when those three things are enough, a bite is not needed. That is true. But what if those three things are not enough? This is something that he doesn't say, but he acknowledges it because he did do some bite work. And not only did he do bite work, but the person that took issue with my initial video likes to say that pit bulls are not capable of being great protection dogs, generally speaking. However, let's look at Gypsy's best dog ever. What is it? It's a pit bull named Asia. All right. Now, the person that ironically said that he didn't have a pit bull named Asia, well, he did. If you actually know Ken McCoy, who was around 2005, back when Gypsy and I were communicating, here you'll see Gypsy doing work with a pit bull. Turn the sound off. We don't need it. All right, so this is Asia, his pit bull, who he bred and produced other pit bulls that he also trained in protection work. This is the decoy Ken McCoy, okay? And that's, he acknowledges Ken McCoy here. So yes, he 100% did protection work and did sends and did it off leash, and he was good at his craft. And here he does a send again, and this time it's under gunfire. So let's go ahead and turn the sound up a little bit, because it's under gunfire. He did not believe in doing sends for no reason, because he understood the civilian was going to be liable for such situations. Okay, so yes, there is Asia, a pit bull that's doing protection work. Okay, zoom out, and there's many posts of Asia. Okay, here's another one, America's greatest pit bull, Asia. Okay, this is it. There's another Gypsy with Asia. There's Asia with Gypsy again. All right, so look, we can give a man respect and props and still disagree with him. It doesn't mean we're attacking the man because we disagree. Like I said before, I don't know of anybody that articulated the defensive protocol for canine applications as a civilian better than he did. However, are there other areas to look into? Yes. If we want to look at the last stage, engagement, now we need to look at a dog's ability to be comfortable in combat. And this is where some of the aspects of game-bred American Pit Bull Terriers or other gladiator breeds or testing engagement or perhaps even some of the sports bring something to the table. So, from those aspects, we need to look at other trainers and other philosophies and other approaches that still apply to the canine world. You know, B.F. Skinner and Ivan Pavlov, these were psychologists, people who studied behavior modification, training, conditioning, psychological conditioning, not physical. But they studied things that became revolutionary in the canine sports. And as other people began to study canine sports and take training to another level, they bring something to the table too. And we should not be afraid to look at these venues and just be closed minded and blind and pretend like they don't exist, because they do bring valuable assets to the table. Look, the Wright brothers invented the first airplane, but the plane that they had back when the Wright brothers invented it cannot compare to the plane that we have today. But we're not disrespecting the Wright brothers by saying their plane is inferior to the planes we have today. Because if it wasn't for the Wright brothers, we wouldn't have today's plane, right? So they made a major contribution, and they deserve respect for that. But we have to evolve and grow. The cars today, they're better than the Model T, but the Model T is not like the first car. There was cars before that. But if we go back to the first car, even that was built from the horse and wagon, the horse and buggy, right? And even that was built off the wheel. So we're benefiting, and we're able to grow and evolve and progress over time. Now, if you want to look at some of the best trainers there are today, some of the giants that maybe we have access to today, I've got 4 links that we can check out. All right, so let's look at this one here. Here is a gentleman who can sign up for his online courses if you want to. For $1,200, you get full access to a bunch of his courses. He has a bunch of courses. Here's the courses that you can sign up for. I think they're probably going to be beneficial and something I might sign up for myself. Another one, here we have Fred Hessen at Sit Means Sit. He also has some online courses, and he's good at his craft, but he's more of an e-collar guy. I myself am not an e-collar expert. I did a lot of protection work from 2001 until maybe 2016 or 2017, somewhere around that timeline. And we began to back off a little bit on some of our own protection training when we built our kennel. And then I busted my back and my vertebrae in 2018. So we slowed down for a little bit. I recovered from that a few years later. And then life hit us with some other things that I needed to attend to. But we're getting back into it now. We'll be training full steam again here soon. But my point is, I can still advance my skills by talking to some of these other experts. And then we have Michael Ellis. Look, I in my opinion, having 2 or 3 fully trained protection dogs is more than enough. I don't need to train all 30. I just need to evaluate the other 30. Next, we have Michael Ellis. He has a school online. You can sign up for his course, become a member in his course. And then, in my opinion, probably the best trainer that we have on the planet today, as far as I can think of, is probably going to be Ivan Balabanov. He has some training courses that are available as well. He also has a school that I'd love to go to, but it's pretty pricey. So I'm contemplating on it, but it'll be hard for me to attend that course since we have a number of dogs here that would need to be dealt with. Now, if it's just online, I know that he has you can go to some of the schools face-to-face, but he does have online as well. So it is something that I'm looking into. All right. Well, anyway, I just wanted to clarify a few things. I hope that this makes it clear that I am not disrespecting Gypsy at all. Like I said, he was a revolutionary in the aspects of understanding the legal aspects of using a protection canine in a defensive situation, and he deserves credit for that. I don't think there's any that have done it better. But does that make him a god? No. All humans are just humans. None of us know it all, and we can all be built on and improved. And I hope that after I'm gone, the professors that I have that pick up the American Sentinel, should I be blessed enough to have any, that they can take the American Sentinel to the next level as well. Y'all take care and have a blessed day.